Let's try this again because I never actually switched to stuff. Welcome to another episode of TCG, the card game store simulator. For those of you who don't know, Wolf and I are competing against each other to see who can build the best card shop in 200 days. And I gotta show you this. Look at the line of nerds just standing there waiting for me to open. And I say nerds with love. I'm one of these people, y'all. Like, I'm not slamming anybody. This is me. I'm as much a part of this as they are. Like, I seriously, like, my one claim to fame. Okay, not my one claim to fame, but the one time I was actually on television actually pissed off my boyfriend so much. We were going to the opening of Phantom Menace, and our friends had stood in line and gotten there early to make sure we had good seats. We had pre-bought tickets, but they wanted to make sure we got good seats too. We weren't at the first showing. We were at, like, I don't know. Our showing was at like 8 or 9 at night. It was not the first showing of the day. We didn't see it at midnight when it opened. But the local TV station, KTLA, it's KTLA. KTLO is a local radio station here. KTLA was covering it, and they were showing the lines of people because we went to see it at the Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. So they were showing all of the lines of people that were still waiting to see it and all of that. And then they saw a female was in line. Me. And so even though I had actually gotten there about 30 minutes earlier and our friends had held a place in line for me, I wasn't there for 12 hours. But they wanted to interview me. I don't remember. Like, they asked the guy next to us, how long have you, it was obviously part of our group, how long have you guys been waiting? And he said, 12 hours or so. And then he's like, and you're one of the few females here. And I'm like, guys, there's so many females that like these movies. But okay, yeah, sure, choose me. Are you just here because your boyfriend wants to see it? I said, no, I love Star Wars. It was the first movie I ever saw. It was Return of the Jedi, and I was like a little baby. So no, I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars. And yeah, I got to be on the evening news because I'm a female Star Wars fan. And apparently that was so rare when the Phantom Menace came out. It warranted an interview in California because, I was the only female geek they could find. It was that dude that later lost his job because he couldn't tell the difference between Denzel Washington and, who is the other guy that he was trying to interview? I don't know. But he couldn't tell the difference between two black actors. I know the difference between the two of them. I just don't remember names for shit. But I know which one is which. So yeah. To me, it was like, really? Is this where we are in the world now? That I get interviewed because I'm a female who watches sci-fi? But I don't know. I guess because so many of us were in the closet back then about being geeks because boys don't make passes at girls who wear glasses. That's such a crappy saying. But what it's really saying is guys don't like smart girls. And ooh, that's a good one. That's another good one. Guys don't like girls that are into this kind of stuff. You know what? I can't even argue with your price that much. A little bit. Okay. And I can definitely say, like, there was a lot more of a stigma being a girl gamer in the early 2000s. I was definitely a gamer before that. Like, I got my first the regular Nintendo in like 1985, I think. 85, 86, somewhere around there. From Santa. Although my dad said, hurry up and open your Nintendo, Kim, which should have made me question things, but I was naive and I just thought Santa and Dad had a conversation. They had, because they're the same person. Actually, they're not. My mama was Santa. My dad was the one enthusiastically providing the funding. But anyways, I got my first video game system at around 5 years old. And I played the hell out of those games. I mean, I played Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, Duck Hunter. I played all of those. I was all about it. You're way over asking. We'll see if we can meet in the middle, but probably not. And then he accepts. Okay. I played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. I had a Game Boy. I loved the Caesar's Palace game. I don't even remember what all the games I had. I had a Game Genie. Like, I played everything. I remember so clearly the first time I beat Super Mario Brothers 3. Like, I seriously had been trying so hard, and I was on the last level, and I beat it. And I got so excited, and I was playing in the office. It was an extra bedroom where we kept our computer and world book encyclopedias and stuff like that. And I was so excited, and I ran in to tell my parents, and I don't know what they were in the middle of, but it was something very, very serious. And basically, I got told to scram. Like, hey, Loss, we don't care about your stupid game right now. And I have no idea what was going on. I'm sure it was something big, because that was not a normal response from my parents. Normally, both of my parents would have been like, oh my God, that's so exciting. Come on, show us, show us. Like, I had the most supportive parents in the world. So the fact that that was their response, like, something was up, man. I have no idea what it was, because I was like 7 at the time. I was not included in such conversations. I was not a part of the decision-making committee. They did include me in a lot of, like, what was going on with our family type conversations. But I was to listen. I didn't get a vote in how things were handled until, well, I was like 24. It was like when we decided to move to Arkansas. That was like the first time I got a vote. Mainly because I'm the one who said, I'm going to Arkansas. And they were like, you're what now? I said, I'm going back to Arkansas. I'm going to finish my college at Williams, and I'm going to Arkansas. And yeah, I'm leaving in July. And they basically said, oh, well, you know what? We're ready to retire, so let's do this as a family. Which it turns out I'm very grateful they did. Because I'm not sure how I would have done on my own. But I remember my grandma got so mad at them. They're like, you're ruining her life. She's never going to be able to have much of a life in Arkansas like she'd have out here. And like my mom like took it and argued it, but I wish I could tell, and I have told my grandma since then, like once I found out that she felt that way, like after Dad died, she said, well, I suppose you guys will move back now. And I was like, no, why would we leave our home? And then when Mom died, she's like, so are you gonna move out here now? And it's like, dude, no, this is my home. What part of that confuses you? And that's when I finally was like, Grandma, I know you blamed Mom for taking me away from California and ruining my life, in your words. But I will have you know, I told Mom and Dad I had already applied for school. I had already been accepted to college before I even told them. Like, it had nothing to do with them. I made this decision. And yeah. I play a good, like, I'd always been the good girl. Like, I obey all the rules. I got the good grades. I did everything I was supposed to do. And so that's the side that my mom's family kind of knew. And mom, like, was strict with, look, you and I can have our, not, our arguments and stuff outside, but in front of my family, you need to behave this way, because otherwise I'm going to pay for it, and I don't want to pay for it. If I have to pay for it, you're not going to enjoy paying for it either. So, like, with the OCD especially, the people I was most expected to mask in front of are my mom's family. And I don't think she did that out of shame. Like, I've had a lot of time with therapists to examine this and to consider, why was this done? Because I had a lot of anger. Like, why was I made to hide so much of who I was? Why was it such a big deal that I was a little bit strange? And just knowing my mom the way I know, I knew she became my best friend. Before she passed away, but we made amends. She became my best friend. All was good with the world. Like, so I had a lot of time to think about, why would she do that? Why would she force me to behave other than how I am? Why would she want me to change? And I think what it comes down to is, my mom was raised in the 50s. And she was a teenager in the 60s. In a time when it was expected that girls behaved a certain way. And if you didn't, like, there were serious consequences. It wasn't like, oh, you'll just be an outcast, but you'll be able to get a job and survive and stuff. Girls who didn't act right didn't get jobs. They didn't get treated. Like, they were, people avoided them. It was bad. And parents were not gentle about teaching their children to follow the crowd. Kids who didn't follow the rules got their butts whooped. And I know my mom got switched more than once. And she had serious privileges removed, and just, it was very hard on her growing up. And while I, of course, will never know for certain, because she passed away without going to a psychiatrist, my psychiatrist and I both believe she had OCD like I do. Only she had a little bit different. She did have the cleaning OCD. And it definitely affected her. And she very much wanted me to have the easiest life possible. And she knew that people finding out how weird I am was going to hinder that. She wanted me to be successful. She wanted me to have everything. She wanted me to be popular, because life is easier when you're popular. I was never going to be popular. That was not in the cards. But she just wanted me to have an easy life, And so the best way she knew how to do that was teaching me how to mask. So I'm very good at masking. I just choose not to do it anymore. Because I don't think it's worth it. And I think we live in a world now where those of us that are different have a responsibility to make a better place for those that come after us, and they shouldn't have to struggle as hard. So when I was in college, I was dating a guy who was a geek, because I've always been attracted to geeks because I am a geek and like attracts like. However, he was not a nice guy, and he did not believe that girls should be as good as guys in games, or should he didn't like that girls played games, and he didn't like that I was better than him at some games. However, I was an only child. What is that relevant? Well, he was not an only child, and his family was not like super well off. So it's not like each kid had their own gaming system. They all shared a gaming system. So I was an only child. I didn't have to share my gaming system, which means I had more time to play than he did. And so I had more experience to get better at him. He believed guys were naturally better than girls at video games. And I will tell you, there are games that Wolf kicks my ass at. Absolutely. He is much better at them than me. I don't know that it's because he has a penis. I think it's because he plays those type of games more than I do. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe that extra appendage helps him maneuver better in some. I don't know. I doubt it, though. But there are also games that I blow him out of the water. Board and video. And he's going to be the first one to tell you that. There are games I pick up faster than he does. He's better than me at Fortnite. He's been playing it for years. I picked it up pretty damn fast. I'm not I'm not entering any tournaments or anything, but I can hold my own. I finish in the top third more often than not. I mean, why do you think we got away with doing Fortnite shot roulette for so long without killing our livers? Because I don't suck. And World of Warcraft, oh, that pissed my first husband off so much. I level faster. I level better. I was better at World of Warcraft than my first husband. That doesn't mean I'm an expert at it. Doesn't mean I'm amazing and like one of the best. It just means I was better than my first husband, and it pissed him the hell off. Like, he would throw tantrums. And we were in the same guild. And so by the time we split, one of us had to leave the guild. And I was like, it's cool. It's cool, guys. I'm not going to, it's not going to become a guild thing. I'll leave. And they were like, but you're better. We want you to stay. You're better than he is. We want you to stay. So I was like, oh, well, if you put it that way. Okay. Yeah, that did not make him happy. And he threw a fit and they kicked him out. And that was that. You know? It's just... Anyway, this guy that I was dating in college that didn't like that I was a girl gamer... he took it too far a lot, you know? He never hit me. He wanted to a time or two, but he never actually hit me. But the way we broke up was I asked him, like we were in a fight over the phone, and I asked him, what are you doing with your hand right now? And he's like, why does that matter? I'm just asking, like, what are you doing with your hand right now? And he's like, I've got it balled up in a fist. Why? And I'm like, okay, I need to get out now. Because if he's at the point where he's got his fist balled up while we're having a conversation, while he's mad at me, how long is it going to be before that fist is in my face, you know? How long is it going to be before that fist is not balled up next to me, but hitting me? So, you know. I remember, and I can tell you what started it. Like, we were playing video games with his roommates and some of his buddies, and they were commenting on how I was actually pretty good at this, on how I was better than he was at this game, and that just royally pissed him off. Like, that I would embarrass him that way, and that I could hold conversations with his friends about different games, and like, I understood what was going on, and I could talk about techniques and skills and things like that better than he could. It just, he couldn't handle it, you know? And so I was banned from talking about video games. I was banned from playing video games with them. I just wasn't included in that anymore. And so I learned to hide my intelligence. You know, if I had a conversation with one of his friends about a scholastic subject, and if I could talk about it and understand it as well as or better than he could, that just pissed him off. And he would get so mad at me for embarrassing him. And it wouldn't go well, you know? I mean, he never did more than scream and yell, but yeah. Taught me to hide my skills at video games. It didn't stop me from playing video games. Like, I'd still go home and I'd still be playing The Sims or World of Warcraft. Well, I didn't really start playing World of Warcraft till later. But Diablo, Civilization, like, I don't even remember all the games I used to play. But I'd go home and play them. I still bought them. I still played them. I just hid it. And then once, like, the internet became more of a thing, I didn't really do much on the internet until I moved back here. And when I went to college back here, the college I was at had a circle of, like, I don't know, like, everybody had a journal, and, like, we all played, we all wrote in our journals, and, like, we tag each other, and we all would read each other's journals and stuff. And I made one, and it was a thing, and it was cool. Oh, I forgot to set the price for these. There we go. So we all would, like, read each other's journals. Well, then about halfway through my first year there, Facebook came out. And to join Facebook back then, you had to have a college email account. And I did, because I was in college. So that became the big thing. And we all joined Facebook, and we all friended each other. But you could only see people from your school. So that was a thing. And that won't say like that's the first time. Well, I guess that's. I had a MySpace before that. And like I chatted with people on AOL Instant Messenger and like I had done social media and stuff like that. Let me think, please. Let me go spray this guy because he's annoying me. So like I've been on social media pretty much since the dawn of social media. AOL Instant Messenger was probably the first thing. Yahoo chat rooms. Like I tried to stay in my lane. Like I didn't just talk to a lot of random people. I never really liked the atmosphere of it. So I was pretty cautious. I don't know. I always worried. I'm still thinking. I'm trying to get the money to get this one. And I was never a big talker anyways. So I enjoyed social media, but I didn't just like go crazy for it. I think MySpace was really the first time when I started actually enjoying it and actually final offer. Thank you. Like focusing on who I am and putting my personality online. You know, and then when the top friends thing came, I hated that because I wasn't anybody's top friend and I didn't like the putting my top friends up there and stuff like that, and it just, I don't know. But there actually was a social media before all of that I was part of that I doubt anybody remembers. I don't even remember the name of it anymore, but when I was a kid, and no, I'm not talking about the one that still exists. Neopets. I'm not talking about Neopets or anything like Neopets. This was way before that. This was in like the early 90s, but you could play games and you could message people and stuff like that. I want to say Zanga, but I know that's not it. I know it's not Zanga. But I really liked that one because I could play games and I could kind of chat with people that I played games with, but it wasn't like super social. Like, I don't know. I've never been big on typing to random people. Yeah, your ask price is way too high. We're never gonna reach an agreement. Why am I getting so many smelly people today? So, like on days when I actually remember the name of that website, I've even checked that website that stores like every web page in the history of the internet, and it's not there, to the point where I'm like, did I dream this up? Did this like not exist? But I remember so clearly sitting in my dad's office playing on this website. I don't know. And then when Napster happened, I will admit my dad found Napster before I did. And that was one of the things, he wanted to check it out before he'd let me on it. And then he figured out it was music and it was okay. And so I figured it out and I discovered movies on it after I went to college. Like, yeah, I was all over Napster. Napster was awesome. The fact that it was stealing music, yeah. We didn't care. We were rebels. What are you talking about? Um, yeah. No, knowing the person I was at 13 and 14 when I was all about downloading music I couldn't afford to buy on Napster. I have a very different opinion now. I grew up, basically. I grew up. But that's it was a different time, you know? Like the white and black of it wasn't so clear. There was grays, there was I don't know. Looking back, it seems obvious we were stealing music. But at the time it was just what you did, you know? It didn't seem like a big deal. Would I do it again? No. Do I now? No. As an artist, as somebody who has created things that they have sold, mainly photographs, I understand now what I was doing and why it hurts. And it's not a victimless crime like we thought it was. It's not way too low. You're way too high, Buster. A little, but not much. It's gonna be my final offer. Okay. I don't know. Like, you're a kid. You don't know any better. The logic that works when you're a child does not work as an adult. Dad did it first. But yeah. It was probably when I was at Williams, so my second college term, when I started realizing, you know, hey, this could actually be bad. Like, I could get in trouble for this. And I kind of started thinking, you know, not just should it be right, should it be wrong. That's still something that is a complicated matter, and there's a lot of dimensions to it. But the point is, right now, it is wrong. And if I want, one, I have a career, you know, and it is a song that I can pay 99 cents for on Apple Store, worth risking said career. No. And two, if I really believe that music should be freely available, which, whole nother topic, is this the best possible way to fight it? And now, I don't think music should just be freely available. Because people put their time and their energy and their brains into making this, you know, this is somebody's creative work, and those who put their creativity into this deserve to be paid for it. However, that doesn't mean I like the system as it is now, you know. It's just, as somebody who has made her living as a creative artist, as a photographer, yeah, I've had my work stolen, and I've had people profit off my stolen work. I've had them make more money off of a photograph than I made off of a photograph. And that pisses me off. You know, that's my work, and they're putting their name on it and saying they took it when I took it. It's mine. It was my eye. It was my artistry. So, yeah. Yeah, well, that's my final offer. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. but definitely in the early 2000s, I wasn't so much scared of doxing, partially because I lived on campus, so I felt pretty safe. Maybe should have worried more than I did, but for whatever reason, I was not concerned. And I was pretty safe, you know, I didn't just like put my name and address out there. But I was more afraid of the social backlash. Like, I was already weird enough. I was the only person in my school who was there on a technical theater scholarship. I was one of the few females who did technical theater, period. I did a lot of things that made me stand out as awkward. So I didn't need yet another thing, you know? And when the guy I was dating was telling me, you know, this is a turnoff, you being this smart, you being this good at this is a turnoff, it really incentivized me to hide it. And, like, I won't say I hid it for the next 20 years, because I didn't. But I definitely hid it for a long time. And, like, fucking A, man. I didn't want people to know. Because I didn't want to be ostracized. I found a group of friends my age, mixed, male, female, who played board games. And that I could get away with. And I feel like board games, it was a little more accepted. And because of my early experiences with being a computer gamer and with the men that I knew and was exposed to as a gamer, I never joined the gaming community. Like, I was never part of the Reddits or the Yahoo groups or anything. I didn't talk to other gamers. I didn't play social games because I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to get judged because I was female, and I didn't want to hear, you know, the condemnation and the disgustedness of guys because I was a female who gamed. I still can't say it's something I'm just like jumping up and down, love. But it's what it is, you know? I tend to pick and choose who I play open mic games with. And if little boys want to start causing chaos because they don't like that a chick beats them, well, that's kind of their problem, isn't it? Kind of just ignore it. I have the luxury of doing that now. Really doesn't bother me. And I have something in my old age that I did not have as a teenage girl. And it's very sad that I didn't have it as a teenage girl. And that is confidence. Because it's amazing how basically telling a guy to go jump in a lake, I don't care about your opinion, like, they lose their minds at that. They will lose their ever-loving minds if you tell a guy, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. And just keep going like you didn't hear them or you don't care. They don't like that. It hurts their poor little feelings. And then when they realize, no, I genuinely don't care. There's genuinely nothing you can say to me to hurt my feelings. it just blows their mind. Like, wait, what do you mean I can't hurt your... What do you mean you don't value my very important opinion? I don't value your opinion. Your opinion has no meaning to me. It does not affect the way... Whether you like me or don't like me, the sun's still gonna rise tomorrow and set tonight. So, you know, you have fun with that. They are not fans of that mentality. But actually, I think we're gonna build our next renovation today because we have the money. That does, however, mean we need to do some renovations. First of all, I think we'll do that and that. So yeah, you know what, actually, I like it better. Like that. Yeah. Okay. Damn it, I hit the wrong button. Okay. So anyways, yeah. I don't care what people think about me. Maybe I should. But honestly, what's the point? Like, I don't know. So I could get that now. I mean, I'm not going to because I don't have the money to, but I could. I need another set of these. Okay. All right. So now that I've bought, sorry, it takes a lot of thought to buy shit. I don't know why it takes a lot of thought to buy shit, but it takes a lot of thought to buy shit. So yeah. I still like sometimes kind of feel like I'm an imposter. Like I haven't been there. I haven't been part of the fight, the good fight, you know, of girls being treated as equals in the gaming world. No, I haven't been part of that. I don't claim to be. But I've been there. Like I have been a gamer since I was like 5 years old. I kept my head down so I didn't get hurt. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have been more vocal. But I was getting hurt from so many different angles for so many different things. Like, we're all fighting our own battles, and you have to fight your battles as best you can. And to me, getting up every day and functioning was the best I could do. Sorry that I wasn't more there for those of you who were out there fighting. The one thing though, they never took it away from me. And like, I guess there's like even more to the story of why I didn't fight harder. When I was in 5th grade, we went on this field trip, and we got back like with 30 minutes left before the end of the school day. So the teachers just said, okay, let's go outside and play basketball. You know, you guys can go outside and just have recess and get your zoomies out because you've been on a bus all day, and we're not going to try to teach you in 30 minutes. That ain't going to happen. We know it ain't going to happen. So let's just go to the playground and y'all have fun. And because it was only 2 classes, there wasn't enough boys to play basketball. And I had always been, you know, I was not welcome in any group. But I was like, for some reason that day, I'm like, well, hey, I can probably play. I'll play with you guys. And they were like, we need more people. Okay, fine. And I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I had so much fun playing basketball that day. And so the next day at recess, I showed up when they were picking teams. And they're like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, I'm here to play basketball. They're like, the fuck you are. No, you're not. Like, what do you mean, no, I'm not? Yes, I am. Like, no, you're not going to play with us. You're not invited. And I was like, well, I didn't really ask if I was invited or not. It's school property. You have to let me. And that first day, they were like, well, no, we don't have to let you. To which I said, bet. And I went to the teacher, and I'm like, look, I want to play basketball. They're not letting me play basketball. What's the solution to this? And the solution was, if you want to use school property, you have to let anyone play who wants to play. And they're like, fine, we'll bring our own basketball. And the teacher's like, great, where are you going to get a hoop? They're like, oh, damn it, we didn't think about that. Yeah, bet you didn't. So they were required to let me play. Well, there's a difference between picking a team, picking me for a team and saying, yeah, she's on our team, and actually letting me play, because basketball is not a one-person sport. It is a multi-person sport. So they got the bright idea that they would pick me for a team and let me run around and wear myself out, but they would never pass me the ball. And they would never actually let me play. And I figured out, day 2 that this is what was going on. And I said, well, this is fucking bullshit. So I went up to one of the players on my own team, and stole the ball from him. And he lost his ever-loving mind. Like, you can't do that. We're on the same team. I'm like, well, no, obviously we're not. Because I was wide open. You weren't. You had 80 people around you. And the person you've tried to pass it to for the last day and a half has had, I've been open so many times, and y'all will never pass me the ball. So obviously, no, we're not all on the same team. So I'm on my own team now, and I will take the ball if I have an opportunity to. And if you don't like that, you have two options. You can quit playing, or you could include me. And they tried every tactic they could to get rid of me. And they went. The teacher who had been our teacher left with no notice in the middle of the year, and we got a new teacher. And she was female, and she did not think girls should play basketball with the boys. But there were no other girls playing basketball, so it's not like I had a choice. I would have played with the girls if they were girls playing, but they weren't. So the boys started saying, well, she has long nails and she scratches us. Ever wonder why I started chewing my nails? They said this right before lunch. I stood right in front of the teacher. I bit off every one of my nails to the quick and said, there, can I play? I had no nails. Like, my mom thinks I started biting them out of habit. No, I started biting them so that they'd be short enough so the teacher couldn't say no. Then they'd start the whole, they'd hurry up and eat and get up there. So by the time I got up there, they'd already picked teams, and they can't add somebody mid-team. So I started scarfing down my food and making sure I was the first one on the playground. So the teacher made him stop that about the third time I threw up, because I was going to beat them up there. They tried everything until finally one of the guys was just like, guys, just screw it. Let her play. What's it hurting? And they did. And a couple of guys were still very, very meat-headed about it, and they'd like purposely run into me and knock me over and stuff, and I'd just get up and keep going. And one day, one of them, Khalid, I think his name was, had been doing this to me every day. And so finally he was coming at me, and I dropped my shoulder and stuck my elbow out, and he went down and I stayed up. And he scraped himself up pretty bad. And he just was like, that's it, you're done. You hit me, we're done. You're done. We're going to get you kicked off now. And the playground monitor, who happened to be one of my friend's moms, one of my male friends' moms, Anthony Combs, she walked up and she's like, no, I saw what just happened. You were rushing her. You were trying to knock her over. She just planted her feet. You did that to yourself. And if you don't quit, you're going to get actually hurt, because she's learning. And so that didn't work either. And that was the day the guys gave up. When I took out Khalid, that was the last day they tried to get rid of me. They just accepted I was going to be there. I won't say I ever became like a valued member of the basketball club, but they quit fighting it. And they grudgingly included me. And so when I started gaming and I realized I'm going to have to go through that every time I game. And since I'm gaming online, I will have, it's not like it's one group of guys that I have to convince. It's every guy I ever play with. It was easier to be silent. It was easier to not go through that. So that's why I didn't join the gaming community until I was well into my 30s. And even now, if you catch me on Fortnite, honestly, you won't hear my voice very often. Because if I'm using a mic, it's because I'm playing with one of my friends, so I can communicate with them. Otherwise, I play silent. If you're playing with any other people online and they're playing silent, that might be the reason why. Anyways, that's my story. That's the end of today. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for jabbering the whole time, but have a nice night. Bye, guys.